How can you make the most of the London Coffee Festival? Hi guys, I'm Luke and welcome back to Espresso Insiders. Today we're going to be talking about my experience at the London Coffee Festival. I've been a couple of years in a row now and I wanted to discuss how you can make the most of your experience if you're thinking of going to this or any other coffee festival or live coffee event in the future. So the London Coffee Festival is hosted at the Truman Brewery, which is a venue in Shoreditch in the east of London. Shoreditch itself is an absolute hub of the coffee community. There's loads of different cafes, roasteries and other coffee brands that are situated and based in Shoreditch and around the east of London. Truman Brewery itself is just off of the famous Brick Lane, so it's a really central place to go and enjoy an immersive coffee experience. In terms of the festival itself and what you can expect from it, it's a massive festival of coffee professionals and coffee industry participants that all get together and celebrate this one drink that we all know and love. Normally the Truman Brewery plays host to a number of different food stalls that are operating throughout the day, but once a year it plays host to the coffee community, and there are over 200 companies that participate in the London Coffee Festival, so there really is something for everyone. Now, that might sound a little bit overwhelming, and to be honest, when you first enter the London Coffee Festival, it is an absolute affront on the senses. First of all, you are almost knocked out by the coffee fumes that are in the air, but it is something that is almost like walking into a roastery, in that you can smell the coffee straight away as soon as you walk through the front doors. Now, when I was doing a bit of research for this video, I stumbled across a James Hoffmann video about the London Coffee Festival from a few years ago, and I found one of his points quite interesting about the companies that are at the London Coffee Festival and how they would interact with their customers.
Amongst the chaos and amongst the endless good, great coffee experiences, I think it's a really terrible place to try and win new business, to develop new customers, because there's simply too much competition.
So as you can see, James doesn't necessarily agree that it's a great place to get new business as a coffee company looking to expand your customer base. He actually says that it's more about solidifying those existing relationships that you might have with customers that already know about your brand. Now, I'd agree with that to a certain extent, but I'd also say that regardless of whether you're a coffee enthusiast that's really into coffee, you love specialty, you're a barista and you know everything about coffee back to front, or you just love a good coffee and you're not particularly interested in all that, but you just want to try something new as a fun day out, both of these camps can benefit from going to the London Coffee Festival. So with that being said, I would actually argue that although existing customers and solidifying that customer base as a brand is a key benefit of being at the London Coffee Festival from a business point of view, I'd actually say that as a new customer as well, there was a lot of brands that I might not have interacted with in great detail, but I definitely picked up a flyer or one of their business cards, and now they're on my radar. So whether it's a machine manufacturer, a grinder manufacturer, obviously cafes and roasteries, and I'm looking for new beans to try, there's a lot of brands just from an awareness point of view that I came across at London Coffee Festival that, of course, if I wasn't there, I wouldn't have known about them. So I kind of agree, but also disagree with James's point on that. Obviously, bear in mind, he was talking as an industry professional in this case rather than a consumer, but it's still worth noting anyway. As you can see from what I've got in front of me here, I thoroughly enjoyed my time at the London Coffee Festival, and I made the most of some of the free giveaways and merchandise that some of the big brands had to offer. So I actually approached the festival in a slightly different way this year as I did over the past couple of years. The first couple of times I went to London Coffee Festival, I really just wanted to immerse myself in the experience and see what it was all about. So it was a bit overwhelming, to be quite honest. There's so many different stalls and so many different brands that have a lot to offer, and it was an unbelievably full-on experience, I would say. So if you're someone that loves coffee and you just want to go and immerse yourself into an environment with loads of different coffee brands, learn some new things, understand the ins and outs of different machines and all the different brands that you might have heard of, and actually see the people that work for them and have a chat and, you know, all that type of thing, I think it's definitely something I'd recommend you go and try, just at least once to see what it's all about. However, this year I actually had more of a plan in mind, so I planned out my day in a bit more detail, and since I've been progressing with the Espresso Insiders website and the social media and YouTube that I've been doing, I wanted to actually kind of get something out of this and discuss the idea of a podcast and some more collaborations with brands. So that's something that I kind of went into the festival thinking about before I actually turned up. So I had a rough idea of what I wanted to get out of the festival and what I wanted to provide in terms of value to other brands. And that's something that I'm going to be bringing to a new YouTube channel, which will be the Espresso Insiders podcast YouTube channel, coming later this year. So keep your eyes peeled for that. This year, I actually went in with a bit more of a plan than I have over the past couple of years. And I actually signed up for the brew school in the morning, which was a great start to my day. This was hosted by Luke from Better Coffee. He was a fantastic guide and host, so thanks Luke for the amazing experience on the brew school. So what this was a brief explanation of coffee, how it's made and how it's produced, and a bit of a demonstration around pour over coffee specifically, and how different coffee beans and their flavors can taste so different, and obviously some of the small tolerances in grind size, how you should actually limit the amount of inputs you put into your brewing when it comes to coffee, because also you don't want to add too many variables to the brewing process. So that was a few insights I took away from the experience that I thoroughly enjoyed. So I definitely recommend anyone that's going to London Coffee Festival, if you can get a ticket to the brew school, that's a great way to start the day and get yourself involved and in a hands-on experience. Now, rather than just walking around aimlessly at the London Coffee Festival, whilst this can be a really fun way to stumble across brands that you may have never heard of before, I'd actually recommend having a few points of interest that you might want to go and visit and know at least what floor they're on before you turn up. So if you go onto the London Coffee Festival website or their Instagram page, for example, you'll be able to find a list of the exhibitors and what stand they're going to be at before you actually arrive at the festival itself. On the top floor, there's usually a nice open space that has some live music and the cocktail bar, which often you get a free cocktail if you get the right ticket. And there's a massive open space for some of the bigger brands to really show off what they have to offer, and it's a great immersive experience. In terms of how I'd approach actually going around the stalls themselves, I'd recommend having a chat to some of the brands that you might have heard of, also some that you haven't heard of, and just speak to these people. We're all interested in the same thing here, which is coffee. So just having a chat to like-minded people. If you have any issues with brewing coffee at home, you want recommendations or advice, whether that be with actually what coffee to buy, how to grind, equipment, coffee machines, etc. These people are all interested in the same thing as you, so I definitely recommend just having a chat with people. One thing I would also recommend is try not to drink too much coffee too early. Now this is something that can be very tempting because there's so much fantastic coffee on offer, and obviously a load of these brands want to show off how great their coffee is by making you a free espresso. Now that's all well and good, but just bear in mind that if you drink too many, your head can be spinning and you might start feeling a little bit sick. So definitely drink some water throughout the event and try to avoid drinking too much coffee early in the day at least. Now, thinking about some of these live coffee events more generally, things like latte art competitions, barista competitions, and obviously things like the London Coffee Festival, these events happen all over the world. So wherever you are, whichever city you live in around the world, there's almost certainly going to be an event at some point in the year that you can go and enjoy if you're a coffee enthusiast like me. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed my roundup of the London Coffee Festival, and I hope this helps if you're thinking of going in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.